Hi guys, I'm Shmi. Hello to you and welcome back to the channel where you join me on the Ferrari stand at the 2018 Paris Motor Show, where they are debuting the first members of their new Icona series. We've got the Monza SP1. We also have the new Monza SP2. So let's take a good look at these super special, incredibly exclusive cars on their debut right here in Paris. First things first, these cars are beautiful, and they represent the start of something really quite interesting for Ferrari with the launch and introduction of their new Icona series. So the Monza is just the first model to be launched in a range that will pay tribute to some of the most iconic and memorable cars from Ferrari's magnificent history. The Monza itself is available in two different configurations. The car that we have here, which is the SP1, standing for Sport Prototipo 1, because as you can see there is only a single seat for the driver, and the second car behind, the SP2, with an additional seat for a passenger to enjoy the experience as well. Now the Monza naturally pays tribute to Ferrari's racing cars that wore that name back in the 50s. So you had the 750 Monza and also the 860 Monza, and prior to those the 166 all of which were incredibly successful, winning multiple World Sports Car Championships at the time. Now the new car, as you can see, is low, long and sleek. It's loosely based on the Ferrari 812 Superfast, which I like to call their Super Grand Tourer, with 800 horsepower from its naturally aspirated V12. In here though, it's even more potent. We have 810 horsepower from that 6.5 litre engine, which makes it the most powerful V12 that Ferrari have ever made. They're going to be building a total run of 499 units of the Monza, and they've announced that in Italy at least, the start price will be 1.6 million euros, including taxes. Now let's take a look at this as it spins around. The design is elegant, smart, unique, distinct. You'll notice a lot of the shapes are very smooth. There's one natural curve that runs over the entire length of the body of the car. It's got that elongated front end. We have just the single opening. It's an aluminium chassis, a lot of the same technology from the 812. So for example, the virtual short wheelbase with the rear wheel steering, the 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, their technology, but also the largest wheels Ferrari have fitted to a production model, with 21-inch wheels worn on this. So the silver car with the yellow stripes is a traditional racing livery for Ferrari, but as it comes around, just have a look at this front end. I think it's a complete work of art. The lights they've created with that central running light, sandwiched either side by the more traditional lights. You have the large opening front end where you have the camera to help you, as I'm not sure how much of this front you could see from the way it slopes down towards the bottom. The carbon fibre exposed, in fact the entire body is carbon fibre. It's obviously lighter weight than the 812 Superfast, but based around the aluminium chassis. But by having carbon fibre body panels, it actually shaves 160 kilos of weight, with a 20 kilo weight penalty then by adding in a second buttress for the SP2. If we come closer to have a look inside the canopy as it spins around, you'll see the bridge in the centre. So if you imagine on the other car we'll see shortly, that second panel is lifted out, but in here it's basically for storage. You have the heritage style seats as well, with the 4-point harnesses, but much that we know and love from a Ferrari in the form of the carbon LED driver zone, the Manettino to cycle through your different driving modes. All of your controls are down there in that centre stack. You also have here, by the way, a very clever system. You'll have noticed there's no windshield at all, because glass would add weight. It's the virtual windshield that takes air in and then fires it up, which will push the other air that's coming across higher up, reducing the speed at which it hits you in the face, because the car is homologated to not have to actually wear a helmet to drive it on the road. But I can tell you, actually driving this car on the road, with that V12 that I've experienced before in the 812, revving up to 9,000 RPM, the sound that comes out of the back of this is going to be ballistic. It will be one of the best sounds and cars that you can enjoy from an audible symphony point of view that has ever existed. So as it continues to spin around, you can see with the single buttress behind the driver's shape. In fact, look at the shape of that cabin, that canopy. Very, very race inspired just in the way it's presented. But by having that single buttress, again, styled as per the cars back in the day. Take a look at the rear as it comes around here too. The carbon fibre of the diffuser. I like the way the exhaust tailpipes are cut in line with one another, two on each side. This brake light that runs all the way through and is integrated into that part of the bodywork gives it this tonneau-like effect, which is very, very stylish. The front end of the car, the front clam as it happens, so from here, this part opens up towards the front, it will pivot forwards to reveal the engine, and the doors also open upwards in towards the air too. But I just think it's such a beautiful car to look at. Really, it's taking my breath away just standing beside it. So let's move and check out the SP2 here in black, and to be honest, I prefer the lighter shade on the car because you can see more of the curves that it presents. But here, of course, we've got our dual cabin. So let's come around actually to the passenger side in order to be able to see this in more detail, where you do have a small windshield to divert the air away from the passenger's face. But you've got the two sport bucket seats in here. You can see that carbon fibre bridge through the centre as we had in the SP1. You've also got a grab handle, but the way it's finished, it's completely stripped out, bare, and exposed in a very, very nice way. So not just that, the car's dry weight, 1,500 kilos, will offer some pretty magnificent performance. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 62 miles per hour. In this, rear-wheel drive is just 2.9 seconds. 0 to 200 kilometers per hour, or 124 miles per hour, is a mere 7.9 seconds. That's astonishingly fast. It will then go on to a top speed of 300 kilometers per hour, 186 miles per hour. Just look at the size of those brake discs inside there. Carbon ceramics as standard on a Ferrari. Also some more parts of the aero. Just see around here the way it's open for airflow to come out from the engine bay. We've got the painted Ferrari Scuderia shield here worn on the side. And they're making a total, like I said, of 499 cars. They'll be producing one per day. So I suppose we could predict that the follow-up model will come maybe 2 years down the line, with these taking, you think about working days, about 2 years to go through production, starting in maybe 6 months, 12 months or so. And one of the interesting things about the production line is that various parts will actually be installed and assembled on the 812 Superfast line. Of course, a lot of it is very different, but various of the wiring looms, the engine, for example, will be fitted online, and the car will be pulled to the side to have its unique elements installed. Now, with any limited edition Ferrari, you can take it to TaylorMade or to the atelier to completely customize it. For example, as we saw on this, with the racing livery, with that interior, the heritage style leather that's used for the seats, or you can order it with the more traditional options. And I believe that because it's based on the 812, you'll be able to get a lot of the normal technology that you're used to seeing on a Ferrari, for example. Let's just come through quickly and have a look at the dashboard. It has the digital dashboard screens either side of the central rev counter, as per other Ferrari models, so that's where you'll see your rear view camera and your media controls, although I'm not necessarily sure that you will have the great experience. In fact, maybe it doesn't even have a radio installed at all. I can't see evidence of one whatsoever inside. You do have air conditioning though, which is a small nice touch, although it does add a small weight penalty as a result. Not that you really need air conditioning, because it's completely open to the elements in the beginning. Along with the 810 horsepower, you also have 719 newton meters of torque to help propel the car. But just watching it spinning around, honestly, I do think this is one of the best looking creations. I'm not sure whether owners will opt to have them with a single seat or with the dual seat. The proportions of each that will be built will come down to how customers order them. So 499 cars, of which that could be almost entirely one shape or the other. I suspect there will be slightly more who choose to go for the two-seat configuration. I think it's a more realistic option for the masses to enjoy, but potentially those that will be kept in collections might opt for the single route. We can see there the door being opened up to reveal more of the interior from the aluminium chassis that's within, but just lots of carbon fibre, a wealth of carbon fibre, especially if you're a fan of that. It's a lovely thing to be looking at. So these, well, will be the start of something. 1.6 million euros makes it, I think, the second most expensive production Ferrari to date. The LaFerrari Aperta coming in at 1.8, and the LaFerrari Coupe starting at 1.3 million euros at the time of reveal about 5 years ago. It's an interesting direction though. There are lots of talks about whether Ferrari are going to make an SUV, expanding their lineup, of course adding the GTC4 Lusso, having the Portofino in their lineup. In fact, that's a great looking car, and one that's also fantastic to drive. But these are, I think, what they're more known for, creating beautiful works of art that are no doubt magnificent to drive as well. Just look at that side profile. It is a very, very pretty thing indeed. Now, as well as those beauties, we also have on the stand the Ferrari 488 Pista Spider. The track-focused supercar was launched a couple of months ago at Pebble Beach. Built on the 488 Pista Coupe, it incorporates the folding hardtop found in the 488 Spider itself. Like the Pista, in the back we have a 3.9 9-litre twin-turbocharged V8, mid-rear mounted back here, all the power going to the rear wheels, all 720 horsepower and 770 newton meters of torque. This particular car is finished in a wonderful specification because against the pearlescent white paintwork, you also have the exposed visual blue carbon fibre, and back here you can see some of the aero. It's a fixed rear spoiler, but you have lots of ducts and intakes for air to flow through the car and perform various different things. Also down here in the diffuser with flaps, and you can see the aggressive vanes found down there. I'm just overwhelmed right now by the blue carbon fibre, which is really very, very nice. Like the Pista, you have the twin exhausts, one on each side, and then come around to the front of the car first. The wheel design is exclusive on this car too, and around here you have the S-duct, so air that comes through the front, up and over the bonnet to give some downward pressure at the front for downforce too. Also the canards or vanes you have around the front, again carbon fibre, very, very nice, lots of open air space for airflow to come through the car. But the interior, have a look at this, really very, very nice. The blue leather with satin carbon fibre for the instrument cluster surround, door cards, and then the white striping and stitching to really finish it off. Even the blue that you have around the rear deck lid, you've got some storage space just available slightly behind the seats. I think that's a very, very nice looking. You can see it's stripped out. The Pista took a significant amount of weight out of the 488 GTB and the 488 Spider models. So that was launched very recently. My first real look at it, saw a glance of it at Pebble Beach. But today was really to come and see these two, the Monza SP2 and the Monza SP1. Absolute highlights of the show for me. Just take it in. I think it's an incredible looking car. The performance is equally going to be stunning, and the driving experience, the sounds you must hear in this car pushing on, the way it shifts, the gear shift is so fast from the 7-speed dual clutch, the downshifts, it's going to be a driving experience like no other. So I hope the owners, the lucky 499 customers who purchase these cars, do take them out to drive them. They're very special as the first of the Icona series to be launched. No doubt the ones that will follow will be equally stunning in every possible way. But this is not a bad way to kick things off, creating this car on the basis of the 812 Superfast, but with this kind of level of design and general just mind-blowing everything, to be honest. 1.6 million euros available now. So I believe the rear canopy opens for a small amount of luggage space. Like I said, the front will open forwards, and you have the racing latches on here, potentially for additional storage. If you want to drive the car and go on a road trip, you would probably have to be very, very brave. But I'm going to wrap this one up for there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this first look here at the 2018 Paris Motor Show at the new Ferrari SP1 and SP2 Monzas. So thanks again, and I will see you guys again next time. Cheers!